Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or whenever you're watching me right now. My name is Jay Luke, the owner and operator of the Passionist Network. I'm also the host of Talk That Talk. You can get any of our merchandise right here on our YouTube page. All you got to do is click on whatever it is that you like, get to the end of that, and you can get 30% off your purchase when you just type in the code HBCU BAN. Again, 30% off your final purchase. All you got to do is type in the code HBCU BAN. All right, it's been a while since Honda has announced the final lineup, and I've actually been wanting to talk about it, but I just haven't done it yet. And so I feel like today is the day. So first and foremost, we already know that they made the decision to go with the first four bands, however they decided to do it, right? It was um, North Carolina, A&T State, and it was Southern University, which they both chose Alabama State or Alabama A&M, which was fine. I thought that was cool. And so finally they decided to go ahead and announce the final two bands, which was Hampton University and University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. So first thing I want to start out by saying is two good bands. I'm not taking anything away from any of those programs. I think the programs are doing very well. I think that the growth that Hampton has seen within the past couple of years, specifically with the new direction or the new director that they've had, is I think it's great. I think it's a cool thing, right? But I will say this from a building momentum perspective when it comes to Honda, I don't necessarily think that those last two were the best foot forward as it pertains to building the momentum. Again, not taking anything away from the two universities. I want to be very, very clear on that, right? But I say that to say that when you're talking about the band landscape, the HBCU band landscape, the HBCU band culture, so on and so forth, right? You want to go with the programs that are going to draw and garner attention. So I will say this: when North Carolina A&T State and Southern University were first announced, it was cool. People were like, "All right, this doesn't seem too bad. Cool. We got Southern in the building, and we got A&T. A&T won the other Battle of the Bands that they had last year. I can't remember the name of it, but they won that, and so they kind of on the high horse of winning, right? So two good choices in my opinion. And then they built up the momentum by saying that those two bands were able to challenge two other bands. Very smart idea. Getting that momentum built, getting the energy for that, releasing the videos that they were releasing, so on and so forth. Like all of those things were smart. Very good marketing, right? I thought that was great. The energy was built when Alabama State and Alabama A&M was chosen. Again, very good energy that was built for it. I myself was like, yo, this is smart. This is great. Then the video dropped, the one that we see right now on our screen. Then the video dropped, and then I feel like, and this is just me, maybe I could be absolutely wrong, but this is just me. I feel like the momentum dropped for what was going on in Honda. I feel like the momentum dropped for it, right? Because people were anticipating these last two programs. Like people wanted to see what these last two programs were, and then we get Hampton and UAPB. And I'm gonna be honest, I think a lot of people were expecting like a Jackson or FAM or Bethune. I think a lot of people were expecting, one of those, programs, and we didn't get that. And so what I've seen and what I've noticed now, and it could be also because of the fact that the marching season has begun, so take that with a grain of salt. Because after this drop, it was kind of like, I that was it. Like there hasn't been, specifically in the band community, a lot of communication about it. since that drop. Now, prior to that, when you had the first two bands picked and then the two bands picked the other bands, it was a lot of communication going back and forth about, the two bands that were going, or the two bands that were picked, so on and so forth. But now it just kind of seems like it was a ball that was kind of dropped from a marketing perspective. I just think, and it goes back to what I said before, you want to put, if for something that you're doing in this particular space, going to California, putting it in, trying to get it into a new market, you want to get, you know, you want to get the heavy hitters, right? And so I think that this kind of put a little bit of a damper into the energy that they were creating for this. Let us not forget that Honda isn't the only Battle of the Bands right now, and it surely isn't the only Battle of the Bands that people are into. Like, Honda was the staple. It was the standard. It was the thing that everybody was excited to go to. And now we're at a point where Honda ain't the only battle, and it surely is not the strongest battle. It's so you want to try to do your best to get as much attention on it as possible. So in my opinion, you should have led with what is considered the top groups to get them out there and to reignite this Honda energy. So I find it very interesting that that was the last two that they went to. Now, again, that was based on voting per se. I don't know how many people really did vote. I don't know if this is something that they just kind of picked behind closed doors, but they said that everybody vote. We don't know. We don't know, because for years we ain't never seen no Honda tally numbers or voting numbers. We ain't never seen it. But apparently they voted, and well, people voted, and that's what we got: UAPB and Hampton. And so I don't know. This is very interesting to say the least. You know what this reminds me of? Anybody who plays um anybody who plays video games, right? It kind of reminds me of the live versus 2K kind of thing, right? Like, NBA Live was the standard at one point. Like, you bought a NBA game, or you bought a basketball game, kind of in the PlayStation era, so on and so forth. You was going with live, pre PlayStation 2, but you were going with live. Like, that was the standard game. And then you had ESPN basketball. Like, a lot of people don't remember that, but then what morphed out of that was 2K. And 2K started to build momentum, and they built a lot of momentum where they were knocking live out of the water. And then live tried to make a comeback. I know, because I did the voiceover for it. I can probably link that somewhere. But live tried to make a comeback, and it just did not work because of the fact that the skins, the skins that they did were subpar. The gameplay was subpar. Like, so you want to try to, so 2K is still dominating. Now, I kind of I feel a way about the new 2K because it ain't too much different than the old 2K. I know this is not a 2K or game conversation, but just follow me here. But the point that I'm trying to make is that Honda, being the original standard of big battle of the bands, you want to try to come back in to try to create that momentum to get people back into the energy of Honda. You gotta lead with your top dogs. It just kind of is what it is. And so, again, I don't take anything away from Hampton or UAPB. Again, I think that they're doing a really good job of building these programs, not necessarily building these programs, but growing their programs, sustaining their programs, so on and so forth. But I think that you just want to go with your top dogs, your top five, or excuse me, they only had six. So your top six bands. And from a marketing perspective, you started great. And I don't know. I don't know if this was the move. But I mean, you guys tell me inside of the comment section, what do you feel about it? Are you guys still excited about Honda? Do you think that Honda made a good move? Do you think that Hampton and UAPB were good choices? Do you think that they actually were voted on versus just picked? I don't know, man. You guys leave that down in the comment section. Also, remember, you can go ahead and stop by our shop. Remember, support the channel by stopping by the shop. Pick up any of our merchandise. Remember, once you get to the end, you can get 30% off that final purchase. Just type in the code HBCUBand. Again, type in that code HBCUBand. I want to see all the comments. Other than that, man, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see you later. Peace.